What do you think are the biggest criticisms that you face from the general public?
Yeah, the biggest criticism is just visibility. That's the biggest feedback I get. Chief, you have 100 officers, where are they? They work around the clock and they're in different divisions working in different things, but at the end of the day, people want to see your police officers. So putting more of those officers back on the street has been a goal for me. It's been a struggle throughout the summer as manpower has slipped for us, and we've worked actually with patrol to reorganize the department, again, to free up some of those officers to maintain two things. We wanted to maintain our officers in the schools. Taking care of the kids is very important to us. So we were able to start the school year off with 5 school resource officers, which I was very proud of and very glad that the union worked with us on that. Second thing, we did have to pull some members off the downtown squad. So in order to backfill that, patrol officers have been actually walking downtown almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, filling that and supplementing the officers that are down there. So they're really pitching in and helping out.
Mayor and council have yet to come to a contractual agreement with both the fire and police services in Hagerstown. I asked Chief Holtzman how that affected morale.
Yeah, it has affected morale. Morale is down in the police department. The officers are still doing their job, which is important to let the public know. But not having a raise for 4, now going on 5 years is tough for them. And I appreciate them continuing to do their job. They're respectful towards the management and the city, but it has definitely taken an impact on morale.
And where do you stand in those talks right now, Chief? I mean, when can we expect some sort of resolution?
Well, we're hoping to see something in just the next couple of months. There was a three-month extension that was just given by the city, and they feel that they're close to closing this session of negotiations with the union, get everybody back to work.
New initiatives in 2014 include adding a new position to the Hagerstown Police Department.
The grant-funded position, we're adding a Safe Streets coordinator. Safe Streets is a statewide program funded through the Maryland's Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, GOCCP as we know it. So it's state money, it's grant money that's given to us to focus on repeat offenders in the community and violent offenders. We're adding a civilian coordinator to that position to help coordinate between the police department, the sheriff's department, the state police, state's attorney's office, courts. So it's quite a wide variety of people that get involved in that. Our parole and probation are a very big key player in that. So what we do, we kind of come together, focus on a list of high priority offenders in our community. The people that are hurting us the most is what I like to say. And we focus on them, try to get them picked up, get them arrested, and if they're still committing crimes. A second thing for next year we're going to be focusing on is called Predictive Policing. It's sort of an extension of what's known in our business as intelligence-led policing. That's basically taking the data and the information that you have, whether it comes in from the public, whether it comes from our databases, and kind of pulling that together and saying, where is crime taking place? Predictive policing takes it a step further, and we'll be launching that in early spring here. What it will do is it will draw some areas on a map for us, basically drop a box on a map where a crime is most likely to occur next. And if the officer's not busy, they drive to that area and sit in that neighborhood. So what the community may see is somebody sitting in the middle of a block that they're not usually used to seeing a police officer sitting there. They might think that they're on a call for service, but they're not. Actually, what they're doing is trying to predict and prevent crime through prediction software called Predictive Policing. So that'll be one of our initiatives. I believe it's cutting edge for us in this area to use predictive analytics in our software. And it's just getting the most out of the system that we have and using our resources as efficiently as possible. It takes a brand new officer and kind of makes them a bit more wise to where the trends are in a particular neighborhood that they're working.
In addition to a new position being created, there are other initiatives on the cards for 2014.
Last year we were focusing on schools, the parks, our downtown, and I mentioned neighborhoods. Just in the fall of last year, we kicked off a pilot project called Neighborhood Policing, and I had a handful of officers step forward to volunteer to test it out, pilot it for us. And what we'll see in 2014 is a complete rollout of the Neighborhood Policing program. What it is officers are going to be assigned to individual neighborhoods. So we sort of broke the city up into about 50 different neighborhoods, And as an officer comes to work, they'll work their regular patrol beat, which is about 2 square miles in the city. But there's one particular walkable neighborhood that they'll be assigned to. So during the course of their regular patrol shift, they'll find some time, stop, walk around the neighborhood a little bit. Again, the public might think there's something wrong. Maybe there's a call for service there. There's not. That's just an officer taking a walk. And the goal there is to identify the problems in the neighborhood. So we talk about crime prevention, and that's always good, but sometimes we need to identify the problems as well in the community. These are the things that you wouldn't pick the phone up and call the police for, but if you actually had a chance to bump into a police officer, you might tell them about a neighborhood issue that you're having. So 2014 is going to be about focusing on neighborhoods and a neighborhood policing program with the concept of problem-solving policing. It's an old tried and true police technique, which is finding out what the real issues are and then working to resolve them. Some of the answers aren't always just a police issue. It might be inadequate lighting. It might be a vacant property. It might be an abandoned building or something like that. So we'll work with code enforcement. The fire department's actually been helping us out with abandoned properties, coming out and boarding up the abandoned properties for us, even in the afternoon and evening hours, to quickly secure a property. So it's not an attraction for the neighborhood kids. Poor lighting in an alley, our light department will come out and improve some lighting for us. Taking what we call crime prevention through environmental design. It's known as CPTED in our business. But using some of those principles and identifying the problems in the neighborhood. So yeah, the community probably going to see some police officers walking in a neighborhood, and they're not going to be on a call for service. Don't be afraid to walk up, talk to them, and let them know what's going on in your neighborhood.
Almost taking you back to old-fashioned policing. I remember the local Bobby, as we call them in Britain, you know, on his beat patrol, you get to know him, he gets to know the area. It makes a lot of sense.
Right. You know, we've always had that in the downtown, but we've never been able to provide that adequately out in the outlying areas. Our patrol beat's 2 square miles. It's not a walkable area. Even though after time, officers would get to know people within their patrol beats, it's tough to hit every single neighborhood. So what we're going to, by assigning specific neighborhoods to specific officers, and they'll stay with that for the duration. As they move around within the department, they'll stay connected to that department, to that neighborhood, and build some contacts. Outreach to the community is real important to us. We're also going to be continuing that in the coming year, and this is one of the programs to do that.